Let's talk about game development process in serious games. Game development team. So when you have an idea for developing games, it is good to understand that it requires personal resources and quite a lot of resources because you need a whole game development team. And in game development team, basically it consists of a producer guy who is in charge of the process and is leading actually the whole product development there. Then we need a designer looking for the game design. Then artist doing the game graphics. Normally it's one or more. And programmers, and that's also one or more programmers. And besides all that, somebody has to do the marketing, accounting, publishing, PR, management, etc. So there's quite a many people involved. The minimum team would be, for example, one producer, one artist, and one programmer. So main part of costs in game production consists of personal costs. And extra cost comes from equipment, so you need to have computers, testing devices, and of course software licenses. Depending on which game engine is used, it varies. Sometimes if you are not doing so much profit, the software can be also free. But if you start making more profit, you have to pay something for also the game engine owner. And for some game engines, you just pay for the license. For example, for Unity Pro licensing, you need to, if you buy the Pro, you pay for it and then you can use it. But the game engines, they exist. For example, Unity and Unreal Engine are the most used ones. Serious games production team. So when you are developing serious games, your team needs some new roles. First, there is customer. The customer is the one who is paying for the game, or it can also be somebody who is acting like the product owner. Then you need to have experts of the game subject because they have the best understanding of the aim of the game. Then we need users as players to test and give feedback as early as possible. So now you can think, if you have your own game idea, what kind of a development production team do you need for your game? And about the team building. Team building is critical point in the game development phase. So there is different personalities and different working cultures. They are coming together, encountering. So at the beginning of the project, it is essential to define roles and I learn to understand the professional language of the others and have agreement about meetings and how you share information within the team. So the communication is a key point in a successful serious game project. So you need to think that is there a person who is responsible for communication? So who is the contact point? Budget, resources, schedule, and features. So normally you have a budget for your game. You have a certain amount of money with what you have to develop the game. And here is presented a triangle where all variables are dependent on one another. So it's triangle with one side as resources, one side as schedule, and one side as features. And if your budget gets smaller, you normally have to downsize the features. And if your schedule is shorter, you need to do something with a shorter time. You need to have more resources to do the same job, or you have to downsize the features. And if there is a need to add features, you need more resources or more time. So this is just for you to understand that how these are dependent on one another, and your budget, uh, if your budget is changing, you need to adjust some of these. Game development process starts with pre-production. So when you have all the information you need to enter to the pre-production, you have to start concepting your game. You finalize all the project requirements, and you have some kind of project plan for the whole project. And it is important to do risk assessment. After pre-production, you enter production phase. And there you implement the plan, track progress, and do the risk assessment again and again. So it's iterative production. Then you test at the end of production phases, you validate the plan, and you release the code. And after that, post-production and wrap-up. So you have a post-mortem, like what we did right, what we did wrong, what we could do better, and you achieve the plan, and then you start again. So iterating this thing. This slide presents the iterative features in game development process. So this pre-production, production, testing, and wrap-up is done until first playable prototype you have. After that, you can have alpha version, and then you can glitch the features and so on and so on. I also want to talk a little bit about localization, because it is one important part when you are doing global games or games for global markets. So it means adapting game or software according certain languages and cultures. And localization includes translations. It includes also adapting certain features to target culture. So this could be, for example, numbers, currency, time, dates, paper sizes, and culturally understood images and icons. So the laws, religion, and general cultural issues can influence features in the developed game. So you have to think values, moral, aesthetics, local rules, cultural heritage, and many other things. You can think about yourself, what else should you think when you are developing game for global audience. Culturalization. Games, also serious games, are developed to global markets. So you need to think how you make money with your game, monetize it. And culturalization in games should be taken into account in game design. So if a game includes potentially delicate matters regarding any cultural issue, these issues must be documented, and one should be prepared for some feedback. So make a game that you want, but do not forget the global multicultural audience which will be playing your game. And something about software ratings, because sometimes you have to consider age limits and software ratings. So you have to ensure that your game is suitable for the target group. And in some countries, your game may be banned because of any violence, criminality, inappropriate language, drugs, alcohol, or sexuality in the game. Normally, publishers are the one who take care of age and software ratings, but if you are independent publisher, you have to take it care yourself. So you cannot publish a game, for example, in App Store without a rating. And it's good to understand that cost for the age rating can be from hundreds to thousands of dollars, and it takes time, 10 to 45 days normally. Here's some instances who take care of the software ratings in different areas in the world. So there's one in the US, one in the Europe, Germany has their own, Australia has their own, and there's Japanese and the Korean one. The main source for this presentation has been Heather Maxwell Chandler's The Game Production Handbook.